Google Antigravity just changed everything, because while most people are still struggling to learn basic coding, I discovered something that completely breaks the rules of app development. So you see, everyone believes that you need years of programming experience to build a successful mobile app. But what if I told you that that was completely wrong? What if I showed you how to build a professional fitness app without having to write a single line of code? So in this screenshot, you can see proof that this exact app concept is generating over $500,000 per month. Strong Workout Tracker is a comprehensive fitness app that helps users log their workouts and track their progress in the gym. It's one of the most successful fitness apps on the App Store. And here's the crazier, mind-blowing part. I'm gonna show you exactly how to recreate this entire app using nothing but Google Antigravity. No coding, no technical skills, just simple prompts that tell the AI exactly what to build. So that by the end of this video, you're gonna have a complete step-by-step blueprint for building professional mobile apps that could potentially generate serious revenue. I'm gonna walk you through the entire Google Antigravity process. I'm going to show you the exact prompts that I used, and I'm going to reveal how AI built this entire application from scratch. So let's go ahead and dive in. So first things first, just a quick note here. Later in the video, I will be telling you more about how to submit the app that we will build to the App Store in just minutes. And if you can't wait, I totally feel ya. Check out the link in the description down below for my school community for more info. All right, so before we even touch any code or start describing features, we do need to set up the environment that's going to do most of the heavy lifting for us. The entire workflow in this project will be built around anti-gravity, so getting comfortable with it early does matter. This isn't just another IDE with autocomplete bolted on. It's designed around an AI agent mindset where you describe what you want to build and then let the system reason through larger chunks of the application all on its own. And that difference is going to shape how we build everything that comes next. So Antigravity is Google's AI-focused IDE, and it leans heavily into agent-driven development rather than manual line-by-line coding. Instead of treating AI as a helper, it treats it as an active builder. And that's why we're starting here. And to set this all up, start by heading over to https://antigravity.google/, literally. So once you're there, click the download button and choose a version that matches your operating system, Windows or Mac OS. After downloading, install the application as you would any other desktop app. And after launching the app for the first time, you're going to be guided through an initial setup flow. Choose Start Fresh, pick whatever color theme that you are comfortable with, and then here you go for the development style. I'm going to select Agent-Driven Development. And this mode is important since it aligns with how we want Antigravity to approach building this application. And once that's done, sign in with your Google account and accept the terms of use. After completing those steps, Antigravity is fully set up and it's ready, and now we can move straight into creating our first project in the next video. One of the easiest ways to derail an app early is jumping straight into logic without even knowing how everything should look or flow. Seeing the app on screen first makes decisions clearer and prevents a lot of rework later on. So here I want to get a visual foundation in place so that we know what we're building towards and we can spot problems early on while changes are still easy to make. And we'll start by initializing the project and asking Antigravity to create a front-end only mockup. If we're going to lay out the screens and navigation first, we'll get a realistic sense of how the app will feel, how users move through it, and whether the structure actually makes sense for a workout tracker. To do this, we're going to prompt Antigravity with a focused request that defines the app structure without adding any real behavior, not yet. Hey Google, please create a React Native plus Expo application for a workout assistance app. Create 5 main sections: dashboard, track, workout history, timer, and exercise library. At the dashboard, create widgets corresponding to those sections and show small summary information based on each section's content. Create only the front end with no functionality. These should be mockups only so we can visualize the layout. Make sure to use Expo SDK 54 or the latest version supported by Expo Go. And just in case you didn't know, in my school community, you can find a whole list of all the prompts that I'm about to use to build this app, and also for each video on my channel, by the way. And with that, go ahead and check out the link in the description down below, because after sending the prompt, we're going to give Antigravity time, of course, to build out the project. And right away, the app's front end is already in place, built with React Native and Expo, as you can see here. So let's check out each section to see how everything is laid out. And every screen here contains mock data, navigation works visually, and the dashboard widgets do reflect the structure of the other sections. Nothing is functional, not yet, and that's totally okay, because at this stage, the app itself is just a visual blueprint. This mockup gives us a clear direction, which also means we can now start replacing placeholder data with real logic and then build out the actual features in the next videos. All right, so now that the layout is clear and the structure feels just about right, it's time for the app to actually do something. A workout app lives or dies by how easy it is to log a session. So if tracking feels slow or incomplete, people will stop using it. So the first real feature we're building out is the workout tracker, the part that users will interact with most often. What I want to happen here is simple, but also very important. Users need to be able to record their workouts in a way that feels natural and flexible. And that means being able to log exercises along with sets, reps, weight, and any other details that matter for tracking progress over time. I want our app to start to become useful instead of just good looking. In order to make this happen, we do need to ask Antigravity to replace the placeholder content in the track section with real functionality. A prompt like this one will get us there. Great job. Now please create the workout tracker. Remove all current placeholder data from the track section, then build the actual workout tracking functionality. Allow the user to log their exercises with sets, reps, and weight. And after a few moments, Antigravity implements the feature we just asked for. Of course, we need to check this out. All right, so let's go ahead and head into the track section here and log a full sample workout. You'll see exercises being added, sets and reps recorded, and our workout marked as complete. Once finished, the app automatically navigates us to the history section. However, there is one thing missing if you haven't noticed it yet. The workout isn't saved, and that's expected because logging works, but persistence hasn't been wired up. Fixing that is exactly what we'll focus on next when we build out the workout history system. Logging a workout is only half the story. If our users can't look back and see what they've already done, the app loses a lot of its value. Like what I said earlier, right now, workouts can be tracked, but once a session ends, well, that data disappears. And that's why we are going to fix that gap and turn workout logs into a real history that our users can rely on. So here's what I want to happen. Whenever someone finishes a session in the tracker, it should automatically appear in the history section, organized and easy to review later on. This will give users a clear sense of progress and does make the app feel consistent and dependable. This is what we're going to do. We're going to ask Antigravity to replace the placeholder content in the workout history section and connect it directly to the tracker. Now create the workout history section, remove all placeholder data from the section, and make sure that whatever workout the user logs from the workout tracker will be shown in this section. After Antigravity finishes building out the feature, we can now try to log another workout from the track section and complete it as usual. This time, once the session ends, the workout appears correctly inside the history section, saved and displayed exactly as expected. Our app is already looking pretty good with the tracking and history now fully connected. And not only that, it's also now starting to feel much more complete and reliable for long-term use. Now, the thing is, workouts aren't just about what you do, they're also about timing. And I'm talking about rest periods, intervals, and focus sets that all depend on having a reliable timer, and switching to a separate app that breaks the flow, So to solve that, I'm thinking that adding a built-in timer will keep everything in one place and will make the experience feel more intentional. And the goal here is to give users flexibility. Some people want full control and need custom timers that they can tweak on the fly, while others prefer simple presets that they can start instantly. This section focuses on supporting both without making the interface feel complicated. To build this, we'll ask Antigravity to replace the placeholder content in the timer section and turn it into a fully functional feature. Now, please create the timer for the application. Remove the placeholder data in the timer section. Then create functional timers that can be customized by the user or selected from a wide variety of presets. And here it is. The timer is in place, And we're going to test it out by starting a few different presets and setting a custom duration. The timer responds correctly. It runs smoothly and behaves exactly the way that we would expect during a workout. All right, so at this point, you got to ask yourself, are you ready to turn this app built by Google Antigravity into cold hard cash? Because in this video, you will learn how to build an app with Google Antigravity. But here's what separates the builders from the moneymaker: publishing and then monetizing the app. While most people stop at, ooh, I built something cool, you are about to discover how to turn your Google Antigravity creations into a real income stream. Inside my exclusive school community, you get step-by-step walkthroughs of submitting and publishing your Google Antigravity app to the App Store in minutes, not months. My complete AI app profit system, it's the exact blueprint that I use to build and monetize apps, and a lot more. This isn't just about building apps, it's about building a business. So if you are genuinely, for real, interested in making money online, please do check out the link in the description below and consider joining my exclusive school community to secure your spot. All right, so tracking workouts works well enough when users already know exactly what they want to do, but for a lot of us, that's not always the case. Sometimes the hardest part of training is deciding which exercises to include, how to structure a session, or making sure different muscle groups are being covered. So this is where an exercise library adds real value to our app. Our focus here is on building a centralized library that supports different training styles and goals. Exercises should be organized in a way that makes sense, that are grouped by muscle focus or training category, and include helpful context so users understand what each movement is for. So to build this out, we'll have Antigravity remove the remaining placeholder content and generate a fully populated exercise library. Now start building the exercise library, remove all current placeholder data once more, then create a fully comprehensive library filled with exercises for different training programs, complete with detailed information about their benefits and which muscle groups they affect. And after the library is generated, the app includes a dedicated section where exercises are clearly categorized by major muscle groups. Each entry here provides enough detail to help our users choose the right movements for their routine. The dashboard is the first thing our users see when they open up the app, so it needs to do more than just look nice. It should give quick context, surface useful information, and act as a shortcut to everything else. Up until now, the dashboard has only been a visual placeholder. It looks right, but it doesn't actually do anything. So I want to turn the dashboard into a real control center. Each widget should reflect live data from its corresponding section and let users jump directly to what they need without having to dig through menus. So let's ask Antigravity to replace the mock widgets with functional ones that stay in sync with the rest of the app. Great job. Now please create the widgets in the dashboard that link to the data types for each of our created sections. Make sure that each widget updates accordingly based on the latest information from its respective sections. And with that prompt, there you go. The widgets are already in place, and you can see here that the dashboard is now starting to behave the way it should. So let's try to tap a widget here. And that takes us straight to its section, and each one displays relevant, up-to-date information pulled from workouts, history, timers, or the exercise library itself. Now, the cool thing here is that the dashboard is no longer just decorative and now starts to feel genuinely useful. This is now tying the entire app together into a single cohesive experience. However, for a lot of people, progress isn't just about individual workouts, it's about seeing change over time. Numbers going up, trends are forming, and visual proof that the effort is paying off. This is where the app starts to feel personal instead of just functional. So the personal progress widget is designed to be that long-term companion. It gives users a place to track things like their body weight and measurements, to upload progress photos, and to view meaningful insights about how their fitness journey is evolving. So rather than burying this behind multiple screens, it lives right on the dashboard here, where it's easy to check out regularly. What we're going to do is ask Antigravity to add a new progress-focused widget that opens into a detailed modal. And to make that happen, let's send a prompt like this one that captures exactly what we need. Now create the personal progress widget in the dashboard. Open a modal where the user can track their body weight and body measurements and view comprehensive graphs that show progression over time. Allow photo uploads for progress tracking, and make sure everything updates properly. include advanced analytics such as estimated 1RM and other meaningful performance data. After adding the widget, the dashboard gains a new layer of depth. Users can now log their weight, review visual analytics, and upload progress photos directly inside of the app. Image uploads work smoothly, and the data updates as expected, making the progress tracking feel reliable and intentional. Once users have logged a few workouts, patterns do start to form. And most people don't want to just rebuild the same routine from scratch every time they train, especially if they follow specific splits or repeat programs week after week. Workout templates solve that problem by turning common routines into one-click starting points. And the idea here is to extend the workout tracker so users can choose from predefined workout templates instead of having to manually set everything up each and every single time. Now, these templates should feel like shortcuts, not restrictions, and they should behave exactly like regular workouts once they're completed. So let's ask Antigravity to enhance the tracker with preset routines that integrate seamlessly with the rest of the app. Improve the workout tracker by creating a preset of chosen workouts for the user. Make sure this is also shown in the user's history section if completed. After adding up the templates, the tracker now includes dedicated presets based on common workout splits. Selecting one instantly loads the workout, and completing it logs the session just like any manually created workout. This final addition makes the app feel faster and more practical for real training, especially for users who follow structured routines on a regular basis. All right, the app functionality is complete, and everything you'd expect from a real workout tracker is right here. And this is usually where people stop, but building the app is really only half the equation. Now, before we move into that side of things, let's take one last look at how everything in this app comes together in real use. The goal here is to move through the app the same way that someone would during an actual workout, rather than just looking at features in isolation. And we'll begin by opening the workout templates and selecting one of the preset routines. Once the workout is completed, it is logged automatically and shows up in our history section, making it easy to look back on our past sessions. After that, we'll switch over to the timer section here, and we'll start a session using one of the presets, followed by adjusting a custom timer to show how it supports rest periods and intervals during training. After that, we'll open up the exercise library and browse through some of the available movements, showing how exercises are organized and how the library can be used to plan future workouts. All the core features now work together in a single flow. Tracking, history, timing, templates, and the exercise library connect smoothly, leaving the app ready for everyday use and prepared for publishing. All right, so you just watched an entire fitness app come together the same way that real products do, but without getting buried in framework docs or setup hell. What matters here is the process that you just saw, using Antigravity to think in features instead of files, letting the AI handle structure while you focus on what the app should actually do. And from here, the only thing left is distribution. The app already behaves like a finished product. Now it's about getting it into people's hands. And that's exactly what we're going to handle next when we take this build and ship it through EAS to the App Store. And if you want to learn about that, do go ahead and check out the link in the description and join my exclusive school community. Thank you for watching and investing your time with me here today. I'll see you at the next one.